The air in the courtroom hangs thick and stale, smelling of old paper and unspoken resentments. Outside, the city hums, oblivious. Inside, time is measured in the rustle of cheap suits and the low murmur of lawyers. I sit rigid, hands clenched in my lap, pretending not to see the two of them across the aisle. My husband, soon-to-be ex, radiant with a grotesque kind of confidence, and her, the woman who became his everything by taking everything from me. She's leaning into him, a proprietary smile playing on her lips, a smile that feels like a brand burned into my skin. The judge clears his throat. The moment is here. My heart hammers against my ribs, a trapped bird desperate for escape. They look at each other, then at me, a silent, shared victory in their eyes. They think they've won. They think this is just a formality. They have no idea. If you've ever felt like the ground disappeared beneath your feet, maybe you understand this feeling. Let me know where you're watching from and what time it is. And if my story resonates, please consider subscribing. It helps me more than you know to share these moments. It seems like a lifetime ago, living in that quiet bubble. Our house, nestled on a tree-lined street, felt safe. Predictable. My world revolved around small comforts, the smell of coffee in the morning, the ritual of walking our dog in the park, the shared silence of evenings on the couch. I wasn't asking for fireworks, just a steady flame. I built my life on trust, on the simple belief that the man I promised forever to meant it. We had routines, inside jokes, a comfortable rhythm. Looking back, maybe it was too comfortable. Maybe I got lazy, stopped watching, stopped listening to the quiet whispers of doubt that sometimes flickered at the edges. I wanted stability, a future I could count on. I thought he wanted it too. We talked about retirement, about maybe traveling someday. Small dreams for a quiet life. I poured my energy into making our home a sanctuary, into being a good partner. I believed in us. Utterly. Foolishly. The disruption wasn't a sudden explosion, but a slow, creeping frost. A late night at the office became 2, then 3. A distant look in his eyes I attributed to stress. A phone that was suddenly guarded, always face down. The air in the house grew colder, thinner. I felt it, this growing chasm, but I didn't know what it was. I asked if everything was okay. He'd nod, too quickly, a tight smile that didn't reach his eyes. The first tangible piece was small, almost insignificant. A single earring found on the passenger seat floor of his car. Not mine. A flash of icy dread, then immediate self-recrimination. Don't be ridiculous, I told myself. It could be anyone's. But the seed of suspicion was planted, a tiny, poisonous thing taking root in the fertile ground of my unease. Then came the confirmation. A carefully worded text message left open on his tablet. A name I didn't recognize, followed by words that ripped through me like shrapnel. Can't wait to see you. Counting down the minutes. My world didn't just crack, it shattered into a million sharp pieces. The comfortable rhythm was a lie. The safe house was a cage. The man I loved was a stranger. The pain was physical, a searing agony in my chest that left me breathless, doubled over on the floor. Every shared memory twisted into a grotesque mockery. Every promise felt like a deliberate deception. I confronted him, voice trembling, holding up the tablet like a shield. His reaction wasn't remorse, but irritation. He didn't deny it. He didn't apologize. He just looked at me with a chilling lack of emotion and said it had been going on for a while. A while. Those 2 words dismantled a decade. The immediate aftermath was a blur of raw pain and logistical nightmares. Filing for divorce felt like admitting utter failure, signing away my future. He moved out, taking pieces of the life we built, leaving behind an echoing silence that was louder than any shout. My first attempts to adapt were clumsy, pathetic. I'd wander the house, touching objects that felt alien now, haunted by his presence and her phantom touch. Sleep was impossible. Food tasted like ash. Friends offered platitudes that felt hollow. I had to find a lawyer, start navigating the cold, brutal world of legal separation. He was already ahead, lining up his defenses, spinning a narrative where I was the difficult one, the one who hadn't understood him. He wanted to make it quick, clean, and cheap for him, forcing me into a corner, hoping I'd just give up. The problems intensified, layering on top of the initial wound. He started playing games with money, hiding assets, making it difficult for me to even pay basic bills. The house we'd built together was suddenly a point of contention, a battleground. His lawyer was aggressive, sending demand letters that felt like personal attacks. Every interaction with him, every email, every brief conversation about logistics felt like a fresh betrayal. He spoke about our life, our shared history, with a detached, clinical tone that suggested it meant nothing to him. He seemed happier, lighter, free of the burden I apparently represented. Meanwhile, I was sinking, the weight of the legal battle and the emotional toll crushing me. I felt isolated, exhausted, like I was drowning in paperwork and despair. The life I knew was gone, and the future felt terrifyingly uncertain. One particularly brutal day, after a phone call with my lawyer that left me sobbing on the floor, I hit rock bottom. The finances were tight, the legal fees mounting, his tactics growing dirtier. My lawyer warned me he was preparing to fight hard, to drag this out, to make my life hell. I saw the path ahead, years of emotional and financial drain, a slow, painful descent into bitterness. I felt utterly powerless, a pawn in a game I didn't understand, controlled by a man who no longer cared if he destroyed me. I remember looking in the mirror and not recognizing the woman staring back, gaunt, hollow-eyed, defeated. I felt like a ghost in my own life. This was the midpoint shift. The moment I realized despair wasn't an option anymore. Something snapped. It wasn't a sudden surge of strength, but a cold, quiet calculation. I was tired of being the victim, tired of reacting, tired of hurting. He wanted a fight? I would give him one. But not on his terms. Not in the emotional, messy way he seemed to thrive on. I needed a plan. Something clean, strategic, something that hit him where he lived, his arrogance and his wallet. The idea, when it came, wasn't a lightning bolt, but a slow dawning realization. It wasn't enough to survive this. I had to reclaim my power. I started digging. Quietly. Methodically. Not looking for more evidence of his affair. That was old news, irrelevant in the cold light of legal reality. I was looking for financial vulnerabilities, for secrets he kept not just from me, but from the world. I became a detective in my own ruined life, sifting through old documents, emails, digital footprints. The turning point was the transformation from a broken spouse to a determined adversary. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was hunting. The crisis deepened as the hearing date approached. The pressure was immense. Every piece of mail, every ringing phone, felt like a threat. I perfected the art of appearing calm on the surface while my insides were churning. My lawyer saw the change in me, a newfound focus. I shared what I was finding, the pieces clicking together into a damning picture. It wasn't just infidelity, it was financial deception on a scale I hadn't imagined. He wasn't just leaving me for another woman. He was trying to escape a web of his own making, using the divorce as a cover. He was leveraging debt, hiding assets, setting up shell corporations. And the mistress? She wasn't just his love interest. She was being set up too, whether she knew it or not, as a potential shield or asset in his scheme. The deeper I dug, the clearer it became. He was a house of cards, built on lies, and the foundation was crumbling. I had found the leverage I needed, the key to blindsiding him. And now, here we are. The courtroom. The stage is set. He looks smug, leans closer to her. Their lawyer presents their case, painting a picture of a standard, uncomplicated divorce, minimizing my contributions, inflating his expenses. I sit still, my face a mask of calm I don't feel. My heart is a drumbeat against my ribs. He catches my eye, a flash of something, pity, contempt, before he turns back to her. He whispers something, and she giggles. Then he stands up, clears his throat. He turns to the judge, but his eyes are on her. My lawyer stiffens beside me. What is he doing? Then he pulls out a small box from his jacket pocket. My blood runs cold.
No.
He can't. Not here. Not now. He opens the box, revealing a ring. He gets down on one knee, right there in the courtroom, in front of the judge, the lawyers, the few spectators. He looks up at the mistress, his voice clear, ringing with false sincerity. "Sarah," he says, using her name. "You are my future. You saved me. Marry me?" A gasp ripples through the room. The judge looks stunned. My lawyer is frozen. My ex-husband is beaming, holding the ring box up to her. The mistress, Sarah, covers her mouth, tears welling in her eyes. It's a performance calculated to humiliate me, to declare their victory in the most public, offensive way possible. He's not just divorcing me. He's rubbing my face in it, celebrating his new life on the ashes of the old, right in front of me. His eyes flick to mine, a triumphant gleam. He thinks he's delivered the final blow. He thinks he's won. This is his climax. But it's also mine. I nod almost imperceptibly to my lawyer. Her turn. She stands calm, collected. "Your Honor," she says, her voice cutting through the stunned silence. Before Ms. Miller provides her answer, the defense has some evidence to present. She walks forward, carrying a thick binder and a tablet. She approaches the mistress, Sarah, who is still staring at the ring box, beaming. My lawyer hands her the tablet. "Ms. Miller," she says, her voice neutral. "We believe you should see this. It pertains directly to Mr. Davies' financial situation and certain plans he has made regarding future obligations." Sarah takes the tablet, confused, her smile faltering. She glances at my ex, who looks equally confused, then irritated. "What is this?" His triumph was supposed to be complete. My lawyer tells the judge, "This evidence was recently compiled and includes detailed financial records, encrypted communications, and testimony from several former business associates of Mr. Davies." She looks directly at him. "It shows a pattern of significant undisclosed debt, the diversion of marital assets into complex, offshore accounts, and arrangements made to transfer substantial financial burdens onto future partners." She pauses. "Partners plural, Your Honor." It appears Ms. Miller was not the only person Mr. Davies planned to leverage for his financial maneuvering. Sarah's eyes are glued to the screen of the tablet. Her hand drops, forgotten, holding the ring box. The color drains from her face. The smile is gone, replaced by a look of horror, then cold, dawning fury. She's reading. She's seeing the carefully constructed house of cards I spent months uncovering. She's seeing that she wasn't his escape, his pure future. She was just the next move in his desperate, fraudulent game. She looks up from the tablet, not at him, but at my lawyer, then at me. There's a moment of chilling understanding. She turns to him, still on one knee, the ring box open in his hand. His face is a mask of confusion turning to panic as he watches her expression harden. "Sarah," he whispers, his triumphant voice now thin, reedy. She doesn't answer him. She looks down at the ring box for a long moment, then deliberately, slowly, she closes it. She holds it out to him. Her voice is low, but everyone in the silent courtroom hears it. "You wanted a future, David," she says. "This isn't a future. It's a prison." She drops the ring box into his outstretched hand. It clatters against the wood of the table. She turns, not even looking at him again, and walks out of the courtroom. Her heels click sharply on the tile floor, the sound echoing in the sudden, deafening silence. The plot twist. The betrayer, blindsided. He's still on one knee, the ring box in his hand, staring at the doorway where she disappeared. His triumphant expression has vanished, replaced by disbelief, then utter shock. His eyes dart around the room, wild, searching. He looks at me, a silent accusation in his gaze. I meet it, my expression unreadable. My lawyer remains impassive. His lawyer is scrambling, whispering urgently. He tries to stand up, his hand shaking, but his legs give out. He doesn't fall dramatically, but crumples, a slow-motion collapse onto the courtroom floor. The ring box skitters away. He lands in a heap, clutching his chest, gasping. The judge bangs the gavel. Recess. Bailiffs move forward. A murmur fills the room. My lawyer guides me gently out of the courtroom. I walk past him, still a collapsed figure on the floor, surrounded by concerned whispers. He doesn't see me. His carefully constructed world, the one built on lies and betrayal, has just imploded. Not by my hand in a fit of emotional rage, but by the quiet presentation of truth, witnessed by the very woman he tried to use as his ultimate validation. He didn't just lose a mistress. He lost the carefully crafted narrative he'd built, the one where he was the successful, charming man escaping a difficult marriage. Standing in the hallway outside the courtroom, the noise and tension contained behind the closed doors, the silence felt immense. It wasn't the triumphant silence I might have imagined. It was heavy, empty. He was collapsed on the floor. Sarah was gone. I was free, but freedom felt cold. There was no joy, only a profound exhaustion. The months of pain, fear, and quiet determination had led to this moment.
Justice, maybe.
Vindication, certainly. But it didn't erase the years of deceit, the shattered trust, the fundamental sadness of a life built together turning to dust. I learned that the most powerful weapon isn't anger, but truth. That patience and strategy can be more devastating than any emotional outburst. That betrayal leaves scars that don't fade easily, even when the betrayer is defeated. I stood there, breathing deeply, the stale courtroom air replaced by the slightly fresher air of the hallway. The journey was over, this part of it anyway. The fight was won, but the victory tasted bittersweet, like ash. It wasn't the ending I ever wanted, but it was an ending I had earned. I had walked through the fire, and while I was singed, I wasn't destroyed. I stood, still finding my balance, but standing nonetheless, ready to face whatever came next, on my own terms this time. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever faced a battle you didn't think you could win, I'd love to hear your version if you're comfortable sharing it in the comments. And if you want to hear more stories like mine, stories of navigating the storm, please consider subscribing. It truly helps me keep telling them.